Now for our story. Lisa Fenner sat in her room upstairs in the house Kitt needed and batted over the sheriff Malibu Beach on the outskirts of Los Angeles. She'd come up a few minutes before, so lost in her own unhappy thoughts that she stood for some time motionless in the middle of the room, oblivious to her surroundings. If there'd been anywhere she could go, Lisa would have packed her things and left. She'd quarreled with Kitt about Paul Cromwell. Now she turned over and over in her mind the things that had been said. The storm which had broken a little while ago was increasing in fury. Gigantic waves crashed against the seawall with such an impact that the windows rattled. There was a crash of thunder, and jagged streaks of lightning flashed across the angry sky. Ordinarily, the mere fact of being within the shelter of a house would have given one a sense of security. But the thoughts which raced through Lisa's mind were as turbulent as the waters outside. She'd believed in Kitt, had imagined her to be honest, straightforward. Now she had doubts. Outside, under shelter of the porch, Ben Calvert and Jessie waited for an answer to their ringing of the doorbell. Jessie was thinking.
It was just like Ben to insist on my coming along. He wants to humiliate me. Now, of course, he's bound to find out that I didn't tell him the truth. That I didn't see Kitt when I was out here. Well, that won't matter now that I'm Mrs. Ben Calvert. And the Mrs. in front of my name is going to be more than an empty title. I'm not going to play second fiddle to Kitt. No. No matter what happens tonight. I've got to keep Kitt from returning to Wakefield. I've got to.
Mrs. Fenner didn't hear the insistent ringing of the doorbell. Downstairs, Kitt went casually to answer it, thinking it'd be Paul. But it was not Paul who stood outside. Instead, she was confronted with the unexpected vision of her father, Ben Calvert, and Jessie Ward.
Dad! What on earth?
Hello, Kitt.
Hello there, Kitt. Surprised? Jessie, I didn't see you at first.
Well, shall we get in out of this torrent?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Come in.
Here.
Just put your things over there.
We really should have given you some warning, Kitt.
Never mind, Jessie. I'll explain everything to my daughter.
I certainly wish you would. Come on into the living room.
Well, it's quite a storm, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is.
May we sit down, Kitt?
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
Well, so now you know, Dad.
Yes. Looks that way, doesn't it?
I should have known you wouldn't rest until you found out where I was, Dad. But what I don't understand is how you got my address. Did Bill give it to you?
No, I asked him, but he refused.
I thought he would. But then, where did you get it?
I don't see why you think it's so odd. After all, Jessie's here.
So I see, but what's that got to do with it? After all...
You ought to know Jessie well enough, Kitt, to realize that she'd talk.
But Jessie didn't know where I was. Hey, what is this, anyway?
She didn't. You mean you haven't seen Jessie?
Oh, well, Ben, you might as well know. I didn't actually see Kitt when I was here, but...
Why, you double-crossing little...
What are you getting so wrought up about? I found Kitt, didn't I? That's what you wanted.
Of course that's what I wanted. But to think that to find out
It's too late, then. Remember? So, now, if you'll excuse me, I think I'll go and wait in the cab. I wouldn't want to intrude on this happy...
Oh, no, you don't, Jessie. So you didn't see Kitt. You were so glib, so full of information.
Well, you wanted information, so I gave it to you.
Wait a minute. What are you two talking about? Just what priceless news did Miss Ward have?
It's not Miss Ward anymore, Kitt.
Not... Oh, Dad.
Yes. Jessie and I are married.
Well, for heaven's sake, may I offer you my congratulations, Dad? And Jessie, I think I should, shall we say, compliment you on your perseverance.
Thank you so much.
I guess this belongs in the love is a wonderful thing department. It's a pity I have no champagne to offer you.
Don't be funny, Kitt. You might as well know. Jessie had my hands tied. There's nothing else I could do.
Well, really, Ben.
What's the point in pretending? You know very well how things stand.
Now. Let's not have a lover's quarrel.
You can laugh, Kitt. It's all your fault. If you'd only confided in me, all this wouldn't have happened.
But where do I come in? I've been out here in California, minding my own business, bothering no one.
Jessie told me she'd seen you. She threatened to spread the story all over Wakefield unless I married her.
Spread what story?
I wish you'd stop bluffing, Kitt. You know what I mean. The baby, Bill. I had to marry her to protect you.
To protect me? Well, it seems to me I've done pretty well protecting myself.
Yes, it looks like it, doesn't it? Your marriage on the rocks.
Wait a minute. Who said my marriage was on the rocks?
Jessie, of course.
You forget, Dad. I just told you I didn't see Miss Ward. Mrs. Calvert, that is. So how do you know what she said is true? She obviously created some fabrication. If you want my opinion, I think Jessie's done a good job of pulling the wool over your eyes. She tricked you, Dad, and you fell for it. You know, it's really very funny.
Oh, stop it.
But, Dad, where's your sense of humor? Here you come charging in to save the situation. Only there isn't any.
Well, something's been going on, and I intend to stop it. You're coming back to Wakefield, and we're going
But
to...
of course I'm coming back. I intended to from the first.
You did?
Certainly. Furthermore, if the baby's all right, Bill and the child and I will live in your house the way you've always wanted.
I see.
Even Bill, with his conventional ideas about masculine independence, could hardly expect me to bring up his child in Bungalow B of the Wakefield Auto Corp.
I see. Well, it's something I've always wanted. Oh, Kitt, if you'd only confided in me. Now look at the mess I'm in.
Well, Dad, you know what they say. Marry in haste, repent at leisure.
But how was I to know Jessie was lying?
You should have given me credit for some good sense. You oughtn't to have swallowed whatever Jessie told you as gospel truth.
I've taken about as much of this as I can stand.
You'll take a lot more before I'm through with you.
I'm afraid Dad isn't kidding, Jessie. I wouldn't be in your shoes for anything. Oh, now who can that be? Will you excuse me?
Excuse me, ma'am. I just wanted to find out about those people I brought here.
Yes.
Are they planning to stay much longer? I gotta get back and check in.
Oh, I see. Well, just a minute. I'll ask them. Dad,
Tell them we'll be leaving in a minute.
they'll be leaving right away, Driver.
Okay.
Are you staying in town?
Yes, just overnight. Taking the first train out in the morning.
Oh. What a shame. I'm sure Jessie and I could have had a lovely time discussing marriage. I might even give you some tips on how to manage, Dad, Jessie.
Thank you, Kitt. But I feel I've managed all right so far.
I wouldn't be too sure. I don't envy you that long ride with Dad back to Wakefield. He has the famous Calvert temper, you know.
You're not in a very enviable position yourself, Kitt.
Perhaps not at the moment. But all things pass, Jessie. And when I come back...
You are coming back. I can count on that.
Yes, Dad. That's a promise. You needn't worry about anything.
As she and Ben left, Jessie was seething with fury and frustration. Kitt's insolent manner, Ben's insulting ambition that their marriage was a fraud. She'd never been so humiliated. In spite of all their differences, there was a unity between father and daughter. A unity which resulted from a common goal, to prove that the Calverts always came out on top. And now Jessie was threatened with a new problem, the problem of Kitt returning to Wakefield to share the house with Ben and herself. If that happened, all her striving, all the trouble she'd taken to trick Ben into marriage would mean nothing. Unless Jessie could be mistress of the house, the title of Mrs. Ben Calvert would be an empty one. She had to create a split between them. As the cab driver was about to put the taxi in gear, Jessie made a sudden exclamation.
Ben, wait a moment. I forgot my gloves.
Jessie got out of the cab and hurried back up the stairs to get the gloves she'd so purposefully forgotten.